Why does everyone cover their nose? I must find a place to sell.
Adaeze, what happened today?
Nothing. Just another day.
They insulted you again, didn't they? I don't care what anyone says. You're still my wife. Please, tell me why you won't bathe. 7 years. 7 whole years. You still won't tell me.
Please don't ask me again. Not today.
You're crying again.
I'm fine.
No, you're not. Whatever happened before we got married, one day you'll understand.
The following morning, the rumors spread faster than the Harmattan wind. Every household had a different version of Adaeze's story. Some claimed she had been cursed by the spirits of the river. Others insisted she was possessed by an evil force that feared water. Each whisper deepened her loneliness. Yet she continued her daily chores with quiet dignity, refusing to answer anyone's questions. Her silence only made the mystery grow. As the days passed, even children began inventing frightening stories about the woman who never bathed. They laughed when she walked by, but Adaeze never raised her voice or fought back. She simply lowered her eyes and carried on, hiding the pain behind a gentle smile. Unknown to everyone, every cruel word reopened wounds that had never truly healed. Late that evening, Mama Ngozi arrived unexpectedly. The elderly woman stood in the middle of the compound, her walking stick striking the ground with authority. She had reached the end of her patience and was determined to force the truth out of her daughter-in-law. Neither Adaeze nor Emeka realized that this confrontation would mark the beginning of a chain of events that would change the village forever. Mama Ngozi demands that Adaeze bathe publicly before the village's annual New Yam Festival or face humiliation before the entire community. Adaeze's terrified reaction hints that her refusal to touch water is tied to a devastating secret that has remained hidden for 7 years. The morning sun had barely risen when Mama Ngozi arrived at Adaeze's compound. Her footsteps were firm, and every strike of her walking stick echoed through the quiet village. Without waiting for an invitation, she stood in the middle of the compound and declared that enough was enough. She announced that in 3 days, the entire village would gather at the river for the annual New Yam Festival. Every married woman would take part in the traditional blessing ceremony. There would be no excuses, no exceptions. Adaeze stood motionless. Her face remained calm, but inside, fear tightened around her heart like a rope. She knew this was the moment she had dreaded for 7 long years. By afternoon, the news had spread across every corner of Almudara village. Women whispered as they pounded yam. Farmers paused their work to discuss Adaeze. Children repeated stories they barely understood. Some believed she had broken an ancient tradition. Others insisted she was hiding a terrible secret. Yet no one had ever asked themselves a simple question. What if she was protecting someone instead of herself? The rumors grew louder with every passing hour, while the truth remained hidden in silence. That evening, after Emeka had fallen asleep, Adaeze quietly knelt beside her wooden bed. With trembling hands, she reached underneath and pulled out an old wooden box wrapped in faded cloth. Inside lay only 2 precious belongings: a silver necklace and an old family photograph whose edges had begun to fade with time. Adaeze gently touched the photograph before tears rolled down her cheeks. She whispered softly, "I have kept my promise, even when everyone turned against me." The room fell silent once again. The following morning, excitement swept through the village. Colorful fabrics decorated every compound. Fresh palm leaves lined the pathways, and women prepared baskets filled with freshly harvested yams. Children laughed as they rehearsed traditional dances in the village square. Drums echoed from one end of the community to the other. Everyone looked forward to the celebration, everyone, except Adaeze. While joy surrounded the village, her heart grew heavier with every passing minute. Later that evening, Emeka found Adaeze sitting alone beneath the old mango tree behind their house. He sat quietly beside her. Neither of them spoke for several moments. Sometimes, love required no words. Emeka gently placed his hand over hers. His silent gesture reminded Adaeze that although the entire village doubted her, one person still believed in her. For the first time in many years, she allowed herself to smile. It was a small smile, but it carried the weight of hope. As darkness settled over Amudara village, a large wooden gong echoed through the night. Everyone gathered in the village square. Chief Okonkwo stood before the people, dressed in richly embroidered traditional attire. His voice carried authority. He announced that at sunrise on the festival day, every family would report to the river for the sacred blessing ceremony. Attendance was compulsory. The crowd erupted with excitement. But across the square, Adeeze's smile disappeared. Her breathing became uneven. For the first time, fear was clearly written across her face. She knew she could no longer hide from the past. That night, long after the village had gone to sleep, Adaeze stood outside her house and gazed toward the distant river. A cool breeze rustled through the trees. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Please not again." At that very moment, hidden behind the bushes, a mysterious stranger watched her every move. The stranger slowly stepped forward, holding a familiar pendant that looked exactly like the one hidden inside Adeeze's wooden box.